Update. Am I the a-hole for telling an exchange student to not date my son and possibly ending my marriage? Original post. So, I, 40 female, have 2 kids. My daughter Liz, 12, and son Toby, 19. I'm going to be honest. Toby has become a perverted degenerate. Because Toby is his son, my husband, 54, tended to spoil him a lot and indulged his interests, which included adult movies and my husband's stash of old magazines. My husband would say, "He's a teenager, let him be," despite me telling him that Toby was growing into a degenerate. This was especially true for Asian women. We had an Asian cleaner, we're pretty well off, whom Toby would hit on and harass until she smacked him in the face when he tried something to her. My husband wanted to press charges, but I threatened to divorce him if he did, and I would make sure everybody knew how inappropriate Toby was. I made sure to give her a nice bonus before referring her to a friend and then hired an older man in her place. Toby sulked for 3 months after that. I can already hear the comments, "Why threaten divorce when you could just do it?" And it's because I didn't want to uproot Liz. I have been saving a small chunk of the weekly grocery money since she was born and have a lot saved in a secret account. I originally planned to get the best divorce lawyer once Liz goes to college and leave him, but considering everything that happened these past few hours, I may need to move my plans up. I realized I was basically groomed not long after Toby began exhibiting that problematic behavior, and I think fetishizing exotic women is hereditary, as my husband is white and I am Latina. Most of the community knows I was groomed, so I have a lot of friends in the neighborhood because of it. They serve as my eyes, and it keeps Toby in check while in public, something he makes clear annoys him. Anyway, our neighbor recently had his prior exchange student come back for a visit. He hosted her a few years back. For the sake of the post, I will call her Kimmy. Kimmy is incredibly bright and happy. She's always smiling and waving at people in the street. This would all be fine and dandy if she hadn't done so to Toby, whom she caught coming back from hanging out with friends. She was on my neighbor's front porch, having tea with my neighbor's wife, when they caught each other's eyes. To be honest, Toby was smitten, but I didn't trust it. I noticed he and Kimmy would talk for hours on the porch the following week, and we even had her over for tea a few times during that week. Liz absolutely adores her, and the two would talk about fashion and the newest anime and manhwas. I have no idea if I spelled that right, but the Korean version of manga. Fast forward to 2 days ago and we're having tea, Kimmy, my neighbor's wife, and I. Kimmy asked if she could possibly date Toby, and both my neighbor's wife and I froze up. I put down my cup and was blunt. I told her Toby was a lot like his father in the sense that he doesn't see women the way a gentleman should. I brought up the Asian maid and told her Toby might look at her the same way, even if he doesn't seem to right now. I then explained my husband was the same way, love bombing and cherishing me, and I realized too late the kind of man he was. My neighbor's wife cut in, saying she knows I'd tried to set Toby straight, but some natures are too strong to change. I then finished by saying that if she did decide to date Toby, I would be honored. I also informed her that I'd have her back if Toby ever tried to pull anything shady, and so would most of the neighborhood. Kimmy silently nodded, seemingly understanding. Now Kimmy is ignoring Toby. She came over this morning to pick up Liz for a shopping day, and Toby tried to say hi, but she just ignored him and told me goodbye before Liz shut the door. Toby mumbled a slur while pouting, and I had enough. I rolled my eyes and said something along the lines of, "And that's why I warned her about you." I honestly didn't mean to slip up, but I was exhausted from lack of sleep. I have chronic migraines. Toby looked at me, and it looked like heartbreak, but I looked him straight in the eyes and told him, "I tried to make you a gentleman, but you and your father kept acting like perverted a-holes. If you want to blame anybody, blame your father. He allowed you to become this way." Toby stormed to his room, and I got a text from my husband an hour later, asking why I would sabotage my own son like that. I texted back basically the same thing, that I had enough of Toby looking at women like objects, and that if he had been a good father, I wouldn't view my son as a pervert. We had a chance to fix his behavior, but he enabled him. My husband is now furious with me, and Toby has yet to leave his room. Liz and Kimmy are still out, and I texted my neighbor's wife to ask if the two can sleep over at her place, since I have a feeling my husband is already going to start a fight with me. The neighbor offered to come over and act as a mediator and shield. He's a big guy, and I took him up on that offer. I'm shaking, I'm scared, and I probably imploded my marriage. All because I warned a very kind girl about the kind of boy my son is. I feel like I'm about to throw up. I have no idea what my husband is going to do or say. All I know is he's mad, Toby's mad, but Liz and Kimmy are safe. My neighbor said he's going to be over before my husband gets home, and I honestly am left wondering if what I did is actually for the best. Am I the a-hole for warning an exchange student about my son and ruining my marriage? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. The fact that Toby reacted to rejection with a slur is all you need to know about how things would have gone with her. I think my jaw literally hit the floor when he responded to her guardedness with a slur. For a fraction of a second, I nearly felt bad for this kid, but all sympathy got sucked dry with that one. I do think you need to rethink your current living situation regarding you and your daughter, though. You are well aware that you live amongst perverts, and I'm sorry, but your daughter's 12. As sick as this sounds, she's not safe around your son now, and she's not going to be safe around him, period, at 16, 17, 18. Y'all gotta go. You're not the a-hole, but you will be if you continue let your daughter live in this type of environment. Not the a-hole, and holy crap, get the entire cavalry. The entire neighborhood is going to want a piece of him if he hurts you. I'm so sorry this is happening to you, OP. Does Liz know her brother's a pervert? You're sweet, thank you. Liz does know. She never has friends over because she's scared Toby will try something. My sister is the same way with my brother. I confronted my mom point blank on it. I told my mom that what he was saying to girls my sister's age was what adults on the internet said to me to groom me. I was in a lot of Facebook groups. It really put into perspective what he was doing. Don't fret, okay? You basically have the neighbors on your side. Pretty sure no matter how much money your husband has, a judge can't ignore that many character witnesses. I suppose that's fair. Thank you for the insight. Are you sure Toby hasn't tried something with his sister or cousins? It isn't too late to teach Toby about boundaries and consent, what is legal and what is not. My husband is an only child, and all my family lives in my home country, so visits are rare. I don't think he's tried anything with his cousins, and even if he did, I'm pretty sure his uncles and male cousins would beat the crap out of him. I have talked to Liz, and she told me he's never done anything to her or her friends, but they say he gives off creep vibes and just watches them from a distance. Liz knows that if anything does happen, I'm safe to talk to. Toby has assaulted people before. He was expelled from school twice before age 16 for touching staff and peers. That was one of the first times I had him tested. So he has a track record of this kind of behavior. It's why the whole neighborhood watches him. Ever since his second expulsion, he hasn't had any legal trouble. The people he assaulted before dropped the charges once he was expelled, and the cases were settled out of court both times. Now for the update a month later. Hello everybody. I just wanted to clarify a few things before I update you all. Firstly, Toby is my son. I think a lot of people were under the impression that he was just my husband's. I guess I worded that strangely. Secondly, everything I have done to try to prevent any form of escalation of Toby's behavior was dismissed by my husband. Any punishments were immediately reversed when he got home. Thirdly, I got Toby tested for any form of mental disability after his first expulsion. He's been expelled twice, and he is neurotypical as far as the tests go. I got him tested for ADHD, ASD, OCD, and BPD. Fourth, my husband has never been violent toward my children or me. If he's upset, he'll direct that energy toward something else or into an activity. Fifth, it feels like a lot of people thought I was stealing from my family by skimming money from the grocery budget. But it was just spare change and bills left over after my shopping trips. It's not like I was stealing the entire grocery budget. And finally, yes, I can hear and understand the "why haven't you left?" or "why didn't you do this?" It's taken a lot of talking between my family, friends, and now you people of Reddit for me to realize Liz and I didn't deserve this, especially Liz. So now for the update. I am filing for divorce. I packed Liz up and took her back to my home country for some girls' time with her cousins. While there, I made and had a virtual appointment with 2 different lawyers from the same firm. They are currently drafting the paperwork, but they also recommended I talk to local law enforcement about a possible protective order against Toby and my husband. Given their behavioral tendencies, I may consider it. And before everyone comes after me for abandoning Toby, this hurts me too. But at this point, I have to protect Liz. And if I plan to have full custody of her, which the lawyer said was highly likely if Toby continues to live with my husband, I need to separate myself from them. I'm still in my home country, talking to my family about everything. Just as I confirmed before, Toby has not gone after any of his cousins, I asked, since I needed any additional accounts for legal reasons. Right now I'm okay, but honestly, I don't know if I'll update again. I just really want to put this entire situation to rest, so I may see you guys again, or I may not. But thank you all for the support, advice, and courage. Please be careful. Your husband may have international law on his side if you file for divorce while out of the country, especially if you and Liz are not citizens of whatever country you are currently visiting. You need to make sure that the legal firm you are working with is very familiar with international divorce and custody laws while you pursue this while outside the country you and Liz have been living in. Also, as a follow-up to your last post, no, degeneracy is not hereditary. Fetishizing exotic women is not hereditary. These behaviors are not coded in DNA. They are taught, and your son was taught to behave this way by his father, which also means you're going to need to think about your role in your son's life. I'd suggest you prioritize therapy for you and your daughter separately, ASAP. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my fiancé's parents stay in our house while we're away on our honeymoon? My fiancé, 29 female, and I, 31 male, are getting married next month. We've been together for 5 years, living together for 3, and we finally bought our first home last year. It's not huge, but we're really proud of it. We paid for every piece of furniture ourselves, renovated the guest room, and it truly feels like ours. The issue came up during a family dinner when her mom casually asked what dates we'd be gone for our honeymoon. When we told her, she smiled and said, "Perfect. We'll stay at the house while you're gone. It saves us a hotel." I honestly thought she was joking. Turns out, she wasn't. They live out of state and were planning to stay for the wedding anyway, but now they're acting like it's a done deal. They'll have full run of our place while we're away. I just don't feel comfortable with that. They've never stayed in our home before, and her mom has this habit of going through drawers, reorganizing things, and making helpful suggestions about how we should decorate. Last time she visited, she actually rearranged our spice rack and hung a mirror in a different room without asking. I told my fiancé I'm not okay with them staying while we're not home. It's a trust thing. I'd feel way better if they got an Airbnb or a hotel. She said I was overreacting, and that they're family, not strangers. I told her I wouldn't feel right enjoying our honeymoon if I'm constantly worrying about what's happening back home. Now she's upset, saying I'm being cold and setting a bad tone with her parents before we even get married. But I feel like it's a basic boundary. We worked hard for this house, and I don't think it's crazy to want some privacy while we're gone. Am I the a-hole for saying no to letting my in-laws stay in our house during our honeymoon? Now for the top comments. This is going to be your marriage. Good luck. There are things you talk about, and those things are a 2-yes decision. This is one of those things. You're right, this is our marriage, and it starts with making joint decisions, not just dodging confrontation. A 2-yes decision is a perfect way to put it. It's our home, not just mine or hers. If even one of us isn't comfortable, that should be enough. Lots of decisions in a relationship are 2 yeses situations. This is one of them. If your partner is uncomfortable with something, you don't force that on them. I'd be reconsidering the wedding. Not the a-hole. Your mother-in-law has overstepped in the past. She will do it again. Just say no. If your wife isn't on your side, time for a serious conversation with her. Invest in coded locks for your doors and change the codes right before you leave. From now on, whenever mother-in-law oversteps, you must call her out. Every time. Otherwise, she'll become unbearable when you have children. Appreciate the advice. This definitely feels like one of those moments where we need to be 100% aligned before the marriage. If we don't tackle this now, we'll be playing catch-up with boundaries forever. I've been doubting myself because she made me feel like I'm being rigid, but honestly, a week of anxiety during our honeymoon is not worth it. No, she has some kind of agenda. She didn't ask, she declared. Past behavior is the biggest indicator of future behavior. I wouldn't be okay with this either. I'm glad someone sees this clearly. She didn't ask for permission. She gave herself access. I think that tells me everything I need to know. Last story. Am I the a-hole for calling off my wedding because my fiancé wanted his ex to cater the event? I, 27 female, recently called off my wedding to my fiancé, 30 male, and now everyone is acting like I'm the villain. We have been together for 2 years and got engaged 3 months ago. Wedding planning has been stressful, but mostly smooth, until it came time to finalize the catering. My fiancé insisted on hiring a specific caterer he has worked with in the past. He's in event planning, and I was fine with that, until I found out who she was. Turns out that the caterer is his ex-girlfriend of 4 years. They dated seriously, lived together, and only broke up before he met me. He didn't tell me about that. I found out from his cousin Barkley. I brought it up calmly, and he admitted it was her, but said they are on good terms and that she is the best in the business. He genuinely didn't see a problem. I told him I wasn't comfortable with his ex being such a central part of our wedding. He said I was being insecure and immature, and that it's just business. I suggested that there are many good caterers. We should find another highly rated caterer. He refused and said I was making drama out of nothing. That was a huge red flag to me. Long story short, we argued about it for days. His refusal to even consider my feelings over this made me question everything. I couldn't see myself marrying someone who dismissed my boundaries like that, so I called it off. Now his family and even my own siblings are calling me petty and saying I threw away a great relationship over something small. I feel heartbroken and confused. Correction. He threw away a relationship over something so small and petty. I bet if the situation was reversed, he wouldn't have appreciated it. I asked him the same question. He said I'm taking it too far. And anyone who says you are being petty, ask them why they believe him lying about his history with the caterer plus his refusal to consider your feelings equates to you being petty. Like, ask so much and keep poking to the point you make it weird and uncomfortable for them. As hard and painful as that was, you made the right decision. So many red flags. His wanting to use her in the first place. His insistence despite your discomfort. His refusal to entertain any alternatives. Sounds like he's not over her. If he had called it out from the jump, hey, the best caterer in the area is my ex. I want the best for our special day, but I understand that this could be an issue, so I wanted to talk it over with you before contacting her. It might not have been an issue. It's the lying about it and unwillingness to even acknowledge the problem. That speaks to how he'll deal with any future conflicts. He could be completely business only with his ex, and it'd still be a huge red flag. Exactly. I wouldn't mind if it were my partner's ex, and if the catering was amazing and a great price. And if it was my ex, I wouldn't expect my partner to be weirded out. We are comfortable in this way. But the lying changes everything. If it was nothing, why would you lie?